All right, fishing in Kenosha. I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time now because getting into fishing in Kenosha is probably one of the worst spots to start in Wisconsin, I'd say. So this video is really intended for people that are new to fishing or new to the area. Before we get started, I want to say, fishermen, please pick up your trash. Okay, so getting started here, I'm going to be working from Lake Michigan up into the highway. I will not be touching anything out here because this is a completely different beast. There's obviously tons more bodies of water than what's over here. And if you even want to try to venture out here, good luck because it's all private property all the way around these lakes, except for the boat launch and maybe a park. Not much shoreline to work with. Anyways, the first spot I want to mention is this marina right here. In the summer, you're mainly just going to be catching um, bass and panfish and maybe a pike if you're lucky. What realistically could be there are the three things I just mentioned, and maybe a drum. But there's also going to be carp in here too. In the fall, you can also be catching some salmon and some. Sorry, you can be catching Chinook salmon and some coho into early into early winter. You can also catch some brown trout. Me and my buddy, we used to slay the brown trout here along these steps. We used to use double jointed crankbaits and spinners. Once spring rolls around, there's potential. Maybe you could possibly still be catching um, coho and steelhead, but I'd say it's unlikely. All right, next spot, no surprise, the main Kenosha Harbor. In the summer, you're going to be seeing bass, panfish, possibly drum, possibly carp. Never heard of anyone catching any catfish out here, or or anywhere along Lake Michigan in general. All I've ever caught here was one rock bass over here, one freshwater drum right where this pier is, where the river dumps out into the Kenosha Harbor, and I had one pike follow my smallmouth bass jig as I was reeling it in right by this hotel. In the fall, that's when this spot really picks up. This is known for salmon fishing. If you're not dialed in, you have no clue what you're doing, you're going to waste your time. Um, you really got to know what you're doing in terms of salmon fishing if you want to be catching salmon. Into early winter, you can also catch brown trout um, around spring, same as down here. Brown trout and sorry, not brown trout. Well, yeah, maybe still brown trout. Brown trout, coho, and possibly steelhead. Other than that, like fishing this in the summer isn't really worth your time unless you're really bored or you're trying to catch like something crazy like a drum. All right, so this next spot here was my favorite pike fishing spot back in high school. I used to catch 20 to 30-inch pike over here and sometimes over here back when I was in high school. Now, this is before they did some illegal channeling. The city did some channeling where they shot the river right out into Lake Michigan. The river used to run over here, then it kind of cut down south and emptied the Lake Michigan. Anyways, Mother Nature didn't like that, so um, the river decided to go back to its original channel, and it just reformed its way, um, shooting its way back down south. Now, but when they did that channeling, they absolutely like ruined the pike fishing. It hasn't been the same. I haven't really gone back there to pike fish because I haven't caught any pike. Um, since it's gone back to the same how it used to be when I was in high school, it might be worth trying again. I haven't tried it, but I would encourage anyone that kind of wants to try to catch them pike to try this again because I was catching them there pretty consistently. Now, in terms of shoreline fishing, you never see anyone shoreline fishing except for salmon season, and it's normally old timers that know what they're doing. I would say it's not really worth fishing ever unless you know what you're doing in the fall because there's just there's just no shoreline for fish to be here in the summer. So Okay, so this next spot really isn't even a spot. Um, just trying to save you guys some time. If you ever, because people like to do their research when fishing and trying to find new spots, and you might stumble across this when going through the Wisconsin DNR fish stocking database. And let's see, like I was doing in high school, I was like, oh, look at this, Barnes Creek. I wonder if that exists here. Lo and behold, it does. So I was like, oh, maybe there's some brown trout there in Barnes Creek. So I came over here. This is like all private, parked right over here. Tried fishing this, tried fishing this. There's no brown trout here. There's no fish really here in general. Big waste of time. Do not fish this. Also, this is a really good tool. Use this when you're trying to find places to possibly fish. All right, so the next fishing spot, probably one of the best fishing spots in Kenosha, one of the most overlooked, I'd say, is the Pike River. Now, one of the reasons why I think the Pike River is one of the best fishing spots is because of all the fish that are present in here. This is where you're going to be catching all the fish that people don't really know about, like creek chubs and white suckers. Um, those are just, I mean, this is also where you're going to be possibly catching, oh, this is where you're definitely going to be catching some bullhead. You're not definitely going to be catching some bullhead, but they're in here. In so there was a group that um, did some Pike River restoration here. They had someone electrofish this. Now, this I don't have this document anymore. It's on my Mac. The fish diversity in this, from what they reported in this river, was absolutely shocking to me. Now, they even claimed that there was even brook trout in this stream at one point. At least at some point. I mean, it was on the document. I was just like so shocked. So, anyways, the fish diversity in this stream, it's going to be way better than anywhere I'd say in Kenosha County besides the Fox River, um, west of the highway. Now, in terms of fishing this, so in the summer, you're really just going to be seeing bass. What's unique about this? You can catch smallmouth bass and largemouth bass here in the Pike River. You can also that's really common to catch green sunfish too. You can also catch rainbow trout here in the summer, but you have to know where to look. Big secrets here. I fish this stretch of the river here, and that's all. That's all I'm gonna give away. In the fall, this is where Chinook and coho like to run up the river. That's my favorite. This is my favorite spot to salmon fish because there's just less water where they could be in. In the spring, you can catch some steelhead. You can catch some white suckers. I think there's some other fish that runs up this too, but I forgot. I just couldn't remember. I do want to say though, when fishing the Pike River, it's going to be very beneficial. Yeah, very beneficial to have fishing waders to fish up the river. When I'm fishing, basically all of my fishing Kenosha videos that I do, like if it looks like I'm obviously in a river, it's in the Pike River here, and I'm wearing waders. There was one time. This is a little bit of a tangent. There was one time. I did explore over here into Hawthorne Hollow, and I looked and I fished all the way up here because I was trying to find where those brook trout were. But man, there were no brook trout. Anyways, probably the best fishing spot in Kenosha, Pike River with most fish diversity. Super unique and fun fish species in this next spot, the Des Plaines River. Now, I feel like this keeps getting drier every year. That's unfortunate, but anyways, the unique fish that's in this river here is called a bowfin. So now let's go look this up together now, people. Together, we're gonna go look this up. Bowfin. So now This is what a bowfin looks like. This is not a snakehead. This is a native fish. This is native to Wisconsin, so please, here, let's go bowfin versus snakehead. Here is the difference between a bowfin and a snakehead. This is native. This is non-native. Anyways, that is a fish species that is present in this system. Mr. George Becker himself, if you're a fisheries major, you'll understand. Mr. George Becker himself said that's the only spot you're going to be catching these here in the southeastern area of Wisconsin. I don't think he said that. I don't think he said they were even present in the Fox River, if I remember correctly, in his Fish's Guide to Wisconsin book. Anyways, this spot also holds bass and pike. What else? Crappie. Oh man, I forgot all about crappie are also in here. Panfish in general. Not too much access though. That's the one unfortunate thing. I haven't really explored this river too much. Tried tons of area. It connects all the way over here. I'd say this is really uncharted to me, but could also be just as good as the Pike River because it's just there's just so much. People don't fish it. Okay, so for this last part of the video, I'm going to go over some ponds in Kenosha that I feel are worth fishing, and I'm not going to go over every single pond in Kenosha because I think some exploring needs to be done on your part, but here are some freebies, I guess. It's got this pond right here, kind of right by Parkside. There's just bass and panfish in here, nothing too special. There's like a little path that'll take you back there. It's a little hard to fish, I'd say. There's probably about like 4 spots that are really fishable, but surprisingly, this small little pond back here does hold some bass along with some panfish. Bradford Pond. This is a well-known spot here. This pond has also bass and panfish, but also uniquely, it's got crappie, which I find crappie are pretty rare to catch in Kenosha. This has some crappie in it, surprisingly. A little fun fact about this pond: there is a cement structure over here, and that drains into here, which then drains actually to over here, to over here, to over here, goes underground, and actually back in the day, where Lou Perini's is, this river used to be all above ground, and it drained right here into the Kenosha Harbor. This actually used to be an open river that flowed all the way through town. So yeah. Next pond I want to talk about, this Nash Pond here. I've seen someone catch a bass there. I have never caught anything here. It's loaded with snails for some reason. I think they're all invasive snails. So just be aware of that. Never caught any panfish here, but there's got to be something that the bass are feeding on. So Lincoln Park Pond. So this should have panfish for sure because the DNR stocked it when they dredged it from I think back in either 2018 or 2017. They dredged a bunch of the substrate out of this pond, and I know they restocked it with perch and panfish. I'm not sure if there were any bass in here at the time before they did the dredging, but if there are, they're probably still there. Anison Park Pond. Now this pond is unique because this could possibly hold rainbow trout depending on the time of year that you go there. The DNR does stock it. I don't know what time of the year they stock it, but there could be some rainbow trout there when you go. I've never caught any rainbow trout in that spot. I've never caught any bass in that spot. All I've ever caught are carp. They got some sort of a carp or koi in there. It was really strange. This is like where people go to dump their goldfish basically, and that's why there's no vegetation that grows around the pond. So I actually did see a really massive goldfish in here once, but I don't expect to be catching bass or anything like that. Also, all these spots that I've mentioned before, there's no pike in them either, no pike or anything like that. It's just bass and bluegill. Last spot I want to mention here is there's a pond right here in Ingram Park here that's not here, but the this is the right spot. Yeah, this the pond that's in this park here has some sort of carp or koi in there. I'm pretty sure those are also invasive. Um, and they just bite like they'll bite anything that like hits the surface. It's nuts. Those fish are starving. If you want to catch a fish that you want to catch if you want to for sure catch a fish, you don't want to get skunked. Go to this pond that's in this park. You'll see like a fishing dock there for you to cast off of. I have no clue if there's um bass in here or not. There are some panfish in here. I have caught some panfish, but in terms of like yeah bass or anything like that, no clue. But um, bluegills and carp are not not lacking in this spot. Well, that concludes the video. If you've found this video helpful at all, just leave a like. I'm not even asking for a subscribe. Just leave a like. Thanks very much.